Let me show you how to make your own sheared top that is perfect for summer. It is super easy to make, you only need a few measurements. Now let's go ahead and get started. I have a lightweight rayon fabric, so it is measured 17 inches by 28, but it is on fold. You can use these measurements for size small to size large because we're going to be tailoring it at the end. So there will be enough fabric for those sizes. The first thing is I'm going to measure 1 inch from the top edge. This is going to be for the hemlines. I did the same thing to the other side. I'm just going to use a one strip of fabric. Although you can cut this in half so you will have side seams. From that line, I'm going to measure down 11 inches, and that is where I'm going to place the shearing. I repeated the same thing onto the other side. Next, I'm going to draw these little lines. This is going to be where the stitching or the shearing is going to be. And if you want to, you can actually draw straight lines all the way across. But I decided to just do this because it's a lot faster, and honestly, I don't have time to draw all those lines. Next, I am going to prepare the sewing machine. So I place an elastic thread in the bobbin. And as you can see here, I'm threading it as normal, but instead of going all the way to the very end of the thread guide, I'm just going to leave a tail like this. I didn't mention earlier, you are going to manually wind the bobbin and be sure that you are not stretching the elastic when you are winding it. Then I turn the wheel a couple of times to fish out the elastic thread. By the way, to save you some time, you will need extra bobbin spool that is already prepared with elastic threads. So when you run out, you can easily just replace it and continue on sewing. I test it out using a small piece of fabric scrap. I also set the stitch setting, which was 5. It is very important to test it out first because different fabrics will shear differently. So, because my fabric was really lightweight, it sheared really easily. Once I ran out of elastic thread, I'm simply going to backstitch, then replace the bobbin, then continue on where I left off. Also, after I finish one row of shear stitching, I move the needle left or right so I will get the same amount of distance from one shear to the other. Once I completed the shearing part, it's time to steam the elastic thread so the gathers will be a lot closer and it's going to shrink it a little bit. Then I overlock all the raw edges and I also close the back seam. I tried it on the first time and it was way too big, so I'm just going to stitch the back seam just like so, then try it on, then trim off the excess fabric. I tailored this quite a bit because the fabric was actually very big. That's why I said earlier this measurement that I gave you at the beginning is going to be perfect for size medium to large because I tailored this a good amount. I would say 3 times, and each time I'm trimming off excess fabric. So you will try it on as you go. That is the downside if you are creating a top without pattern, but you can easily tailor it so it will fit you perfectly. Next, it's time to fold in the neckline. And I'm going to fold it by about 1/2 inch because I'm going to feed an elastic through it, so the neckline is going to be nice and snug. Then I feed the elastic through the channel and it is the same measurement as my chest. Secure the ends and close the drive. We're almost done here. Now I'm going to finish the hemline by folding it in, then stitch all the way around. If you want a strapless top, you are going to stop here, but I wanted to have straps. It is about 15 inches long and 4 inches in width. I fold it in half and fold it one more time, then stitch along the edge. Then I stitch it on the bodice. This is the final product. I absolutely love it. This project took me less than 3 hours to make. The shirring part was the hardest, but the rest was so easy.